Welcome back, everyone. I have another video for you as part of the 22 rimfire series. As I mentioned before, I had quite a few requests to focus more on 22 rifles because they're probably, in a lot of ways, the most affordable firearms, and one tends to use them more than any other, partly because the ammunition is affordable and they don't make much noise. And the requests that I had were pertaining to the Marlin Model 39. I must have had, I don't know, six of those rifles, if not more. And a lot of people are probably like me. And unfortunately, I sold them all. I don't know why, but they're gone. And so the requests came in, and I've been keeping an eye out for a Marlin Model 39. But in the meantime, there's some kind of corporate reorganization going on at Marlin because Remington bought Marlin, and Remington is owned by some kind of capital management company that really isn't a firearms company. You know, everything's in a state of transition right now. So to make a long story short, I thought, well, I just have to buy a Model 39. And I saw an advertisement for a Chiappa reproduction of a Marlin Model 39. So Chiappa makes great firearms. I've owned quite a few of them. They've even appeared on this channel. And so I without hesitation, bought the Chiappa 39. I still own a copy made by Chiappa of an 1892 Winchester. Fantastic. Arguably, maybe better than the original. Everything's done properly. Anyway, so this 39 arrived, and obviously I'm kind of setting you up for two stories. So the first one is, for all of you that requested a review on the 39, I guess unless Marlin starts making them again, and I've heard that rumor, I've heard that there's supposed to be another Marlin Model 39 coming out. I'm not sure that it'll be identical to the steel and walnut original that was in continuous production, I believe, longer than any other firearm. Somebody told me that. It's probably true. I hope they make them again. As anyone knows who's owned a Marlin Model 39, they always work. They're always accurate. They're probably the most reliable 22. I know a lot of people will argue with that. They own Ruger 1022s. But aside from semi-autos, and I mean, eventually all semi-autos break down, doesn't matter how good they are, and I think that's a safe statement. It's just a matter of time. But with a lever action or a bolt action, the lifespan may be indefinite. Anyhow, so that's a lot of talking. So I got this Chiappa, and I mean, have a look at this rifle. Again, I don't have the best cameras, I don't have the best lighting, but you have to forgive me for that. I think it's an attractive rifle, and it has the receiver profile of the Model 39. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the operation of this rifle. It has a tubular magazine. You'll know how to feed the magazine. I'll show you that in a second in case you don't. The sights are good. But now we'll get into the particulars. And this ends up being a video about the Marlin 39. And also about the Chiappa copy. But what comes out of this video is how great that 39 is, and I suspect the rumors are true, and Marlin will return to it just because it is such an excellent design. So getting back to the Chiappa, they got the receiver profiling correct. And if somebody said, well, what is the Chiappa in relation to the Model 39? I thought about this before filming. This is like a DECOY Model 39. It isn't operationally. You already can see something's interesting with the lever. It's quite thick. And it isn't profiled and shaped the way the Model 39 is. That's because this is aluminum. And aluminum has a tendency to fracture under certain conditions, so they made it thicker. So you notice that right away. The color case hardening, it's hard to say whether the cameraman can focus in on it or not, but it's beautiful. And then when you look at it more closely, you see that it has an unusual texture to it. And the reason for the unusual texture is that this is some kind of a membrane. And I don't pretend to know how they accomplished this, but technology is getting so clever. This could be a dip, I suspect it is. But I took my magnet, and this is just an aluminum receiver. Somebody told me it's pot metal, which is different, but I think this is just an aluminum receiver. And then they dipped it into what looks like color case hardening, and I'll shift it around for you, and you can see they captured the colors of case hardening beautifully. But as you may or may not know, color case hardening actually used to serve a purpose. It wasn't just a decoration, it wasn't just a cosmetic event. And on this firearm it is strictly cosmetic. Now whenever I see this kind of finish, just like with anodizing on aluminum, you know that at some point something's going to scratch, although this is very hard. I don't know what they put as a top coat on this. It could be epoxy. It's extremely hard. But that doesn't matter. Time will find a way of scratching this, and you'll end up seeing white aluminum underneath there, just like when anodizing fails. Then you run around with your Sharpie or do whatever you can do. But with color case hardening, it's going to be hard to disguise damage. Anyway, that sounds critical, and I don't want to be critical about this rifle because it works perfectly. Shoots 22 shorts, long rifles. The engineers in Italy know what they're doing. They make virtually millions of firearms in Italy now. And I guess if I were going to say anything, this is aluminum, this is polymer. There's no, I believe it's a plastic. Yeah, somebody said it's aluminum, somebody said it's plastic. I think it's a polymer, and this is aluminum. Anyway, the key component in a firearm, other than a working mechanism, is the barrel. The barrel's obviously steel. It's accurate, and the operation of the lever is quite smooth. And for those of you that asked for that Model 39 review, I mean, they captured kind of the essence of the 39. I understand what they were up to. With these multinationals, when they see a gap and they believe there's market demand, of course there's Henry making lever actions and so forth, but this really is probably the most direct attempt to replace the Model 39 Marlin. But I'd suggest that Cerebras Capital Management, or whoever it is that owns Remington Marlin, just make the Marlin, make the original 39 again. You have a ready-made market. And anyway, a lot of people, I'm sure, are emailing you, as I did. Getting back to the Chiappa copy, so we have the Marlin 39 Decoy, and I forget what model number they call this, 3-something, and it doesn't matter. The tubular magazine, you feed it through here, this draws out. It has this thumb screw, you turn that, these components come apart, kind of like the 39. Oh, by the way, the minute you take this apart, which I won't bother doing, because you may not buy the Chiappa, you'll see that the mechanism is entirely different from the Marlin. The stock is one of those deals where it looks kind of like walnut, but it's not walnut. It's either, it could be beech or birch, or some European wood. There's also an interesting thing on this. It's marked Chiappa and then Italy, but it doesn't say made in Italy. And I've owned so many different things, and I'm sure you have too, where unless it says made in the place, it could be that, I mean, it's possible it's made in Turkey. I'm just saying it's a possibility, or I don't know that to be true. But a lot of times, I always wonder if they had an opportunity to just say made in USA or made in England, and instead they just say Model 10 England. Or there was a rifle out of Australia which I really liked. I found out it was made, or partly made, in Vietnam. Can talk about that another time. Anyway, if you want something that's like the Model 39, the Chiappa is good. There are also a lot of used Model 39s around, and you can see there's some interesting things going on here. I'm not sure these are milled parts. There seem to be some castings involved because the borders where the components fit They work, but they're not necessarily as tight as one would normally expect. Other than that, and that sounds like a harsh review. I hope I don't sound harsh, because it's tough to make a profit in the firearms industry, and I think Chiappa did their best to offer a product that functionally is very close to the 39. And you know, maybe they'll change the lever design if they hear from enough of us. Maybe they'll offer us a walnut stock. You know, sometimes you have to wait 2 or 3 years in a rifle's production to find out actually what the board of directors has in mind. Typical operation, everything is very familiar to you. It's very slick, it's smooth, it's good. And when I was preparing for the video, somebody brought over a Henry, and they said that receiver was steel, but I took my magnet out and that receiver wasn't steel either. It looked like brass, but I guess it was just brass plated aluminum. And there's nothing wrong with that. These receivers don't have to accomplish much. There's really no pressure involved. So they tried to offer us a Model 39 with a case colored receiver, a decent stock, a mechanism that works and feeds reliably. They accomplished all those things for a reasonable price. And getting back to the Marlin, it's, you know, it's hard to add anything that hasn't been said about that lever action already. If they don't reintroduce them, try to find ones that are in great shape, or maybe that aren't in great shape. Just buy them while they're still around, because those are legendary rifles and they can only go up in value. And getting back to the Chiappa, it does have a groove here. Sorry, grooved receiver for telescopic sight, which is nice. A great big pin for the lever on this side. And probably that's all I have to say. And of course, if I come across a Marlin, I'll definitely do a separate review. And I'm still hoping, though, that those guys know what they're doing and they reintroduce the made in USA Marlin Model 39. Because I think most people would rather buy that than a Henry or a Chiappa. Not that there's anything really wrong with those others, but I think the original is always what people want. To my way of thinking anyway. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Thanks for your requests. And we've got a whole bunch more 22s to review. It takes me a little while to get going, but I actually miss making these videos. And I wish I could make more, but only so many things that one can get to. So that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time. Take care.